Yeah, and I really I kind of want to get back to the space of like what it means to bring people through kind of wellness journeys in this time. I think you've been doing this for about 6 years now, about 6 or 7 years, and um, I know when I was teaching nutrition, wellness, food, it's something that a lot of people are seeking out.
Mhm.
And um, I don't know if you found this on your journey, but there can be a lot of barriers to wanting to start a process and wanting to stick to it. And kind of what are some, when you've been supporting people, what are kind of some common barriers that have kind of, maybe things, fears or just things that have come up, like, and what, like, why do these barriers come up? What are some things that have been coming up, and maybe why?
Um, I mean, a lot of it has to do with money. Often
Mm,
or I should say, these are the excuses, I should say. These are the excuses: money, time, not having enough time, um, and also just I think it also like goes a little like deeper into the worth, self-worth, and feeling like, am I worthy to go on this health journey that would benefit me? Again, this idea of selfishness versus being selfless. So many people are really conditioned with this story of I'm being selfish if I'm tending to myself. And there's a lot, I mean, as a mom of three, trust me, I dance with the mental guilt often around making choices for my self-care over tending to my children's needs or being present for them versus going, on an overnight retreat where I can soak in a, hot spring bath. I'm just like, this is as much for me as it is for you, even though it feels like I'm leaving you or abandoning you or whatever the story is. And I dance with it all the time. I don't know if it's ever going to go away, but I definitely have put those things as a priority. A lot of times, for a lot of people, it takes a health crisis to be a huge wake up call. Even myself included, with I'm like, what motivated me to end up eating raw for 90 days? Was this diagnosis with the my cervical carcinoma, and that motivated me to just dive in. And up until that, I had a billion excuses about, oh, I don't think I could do raw food, or I don't know how to prepare these things and all of that. So there's a lot of excuses, and I just think it comes to self-worth, and also knowing that um, trusting that once you say yes, things start to fall into place. Yeah. Yeah.
I think the falling into place is something that can be really like challenging to wrestle with. I think I know, like, on my health journey and people I talk to, like, sometimes when it comes to like a lifestyle shift, it's like the kind of gusto that we would go to, say, with our careers. Like, we're like, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna go raw. I'm gonna go vegan. I'm gonna do all this stuff. I know on my journey, I had a health crisis with meat. I had food poisoning. I couldn't hold down food for a week.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like, I'm done with meat. I went cold turkey. But a lot of people who are like wanting to make healthy shifts,
Mhm.
cold turkey isn't necessarily the way to go.
You're right.
Um, and like, how do we kind of combat this urgent need? Um, and I guess what else I would say is that when I think of holistic living, I think of something that you do over time indefinitely. Like, it's not something that you're going to do. I'm going to go raw for 21 days and then I'm done for the rest of my life. I must be healthy, right? Like,
Mhm.
how do you, like, so there's starting it, there's getting past the fact that actually it's actually cheaper to eat plant based.
Yes.
It's actually, you can make a lot of food at once. So time wise, it actually could be a time saver.
Yes.
All these kind of different excuses can have, there's a remedy for that. And that the actual truth and the fact is that it isn't what it seems to be. Something else that comes up for a lot of people is that you don't get enough protein or you're hungry on this diet,
Yeah.
which is debunked as well.
Yeah.
But like what, I mean, the thing that the kicker for me is like, how do we make this something that happens forever when it's not like based on a health crisis? Like
Right.
what is like the real reason for me to even consider not just the food, the breath, all these things, like what ultimately what could this bring me towards, I guess. And I'd love for you to answer it from your specific story. Early on in your story, you said as
Mhm.
you were going through this process of coming into veganism, you actually experienced some other shifts inside of you.
Oh,
And then I would love to hear, like, what were those kind of shifts? Were they spiritual, or like what are some things that started shifting for you?
yeah. Definitely. Um, I mean, definitely when you start to really take care of yourself and love yourself. But first, I just want to touch on the practice piece. I'm really more of a slow and steady wins the race. Like, I don't want anyone to come into any lifestyle shift and say, I want to be like you, because my journey has been ongoing for the last 25 years, you know? And so it's a slow evolution, and just bringing in one practice that's different. It could be I'm taking an Epsom salt bath 3 times a week. It could be I'm putting my phone away, before I lay down to rest, and I'm going to substitute that with sipping a warm herbal tea, or and starting to bring things in that kind of start to build on each other and shift old habits and replace them with new ones. And then it becomes a little bit easier to shift another old habit and another. And they all just start to naturally fall away. But I don't just say, oh, shift your whole lifestyle, clear out all your kitchen cabinets, clear. No, we're just going to start, like, what's one thing we can substitute? It might just be that you carry around a reusable water bottle and fill it up and drink it throughout the day. That's one, that's a beginning. And then from there, it can just evolve. But definitely on the raw journey, by the time I don't remember what day I was at, but I mean, I even started, because no one really talks about this with raw food. So I started Googling like raw food and spiritual awakening because I felt like I was experiencing that. And no, everyone's talking about, the nutritional piece and the digestive piece and the immune boosting piece, but nobody's really talking about the awakening that happens when you're like bathing yourself in oxygenated foods, and cleansing and clearing. And there's like an awakening that happens, and more clarity around your purpose, more courage to step into your purpose and your power, all of these things. And whether it's through food or just like a really active self-care practice, there's a certain part of you where you just um, embody strength and courage and fearlessness. And oh, I don't like, and maybe this is also age, this comes with age. you know um, Being 47, I feel like I'm starting to give less F's about what people think,
Yes.
or like what I'm saying, and if it resonates with you or not, or if it sounds perfect or not. Or I used to always say, oh, well, there's someone else already doing that. Well, I'm just going to bring a different twist. I'm just going to bring myself to the table with, my plant-based. There's tons of people talking and doing plant-based food. And, I'm just going to bring me to the table with my experience and my journey of that. And again, that can come from just cultivating the courage, like letting the old stories of ourselves fall away. Because when you're cleansing, that happens too. It's not just
Mm.
like, it's not just like physical weight or, you know, your colon and your intestines clearing out, but it's actually like old stories, old energetic baggage that starts to fall away, that brings you more into alignment with who you are and what you came here to do. And so, yeah, that's kind of the shift I saw. And also just hearing the plant, I started hearing the plants, you know, and in the
Wow.
beginning I was, you know, I would tell people like, go get that package, although please do this if this is what is accessible to you, that the packaged, you know, organic baby kale that I used to always put in my smoothie. Well, after eating raw for so many days, I would go into, say, Trader Joe's, for example, and the bags were just like, do not eat me. I am of a lower vibration and you need to like go to the farmer's market or grow this
Mm.
because there's a much higher vibrational quality. And the plants started kind of telling me that. And so I was like, oh yeah. So you actually, there's just a more clarity in the plants, including the food, because I know a lot of people work with medicinal plants, um, whether within herbalism or plant medicine, and the plants are guiding you, but so does food. Like food plants do guide, and especially when you're really in tune with that and kind of tapped in. And usually that happens when you're eating. That's the only thing that you are consuming. Yeah.
I'm loving your perspective. I'm sure I'm not the only one that wants some broccoli to talk to me when I'm walking down the aisle. Like, that sounds really amazing. It sounds really phenomenal to be, yeah, to be that tapped in. That just sounds really clear. That sounds really just um, impressive to kind of come to a place where you respect plants and they're respecting you back and they're guiding you and they're your allies. And I know that you have a beautiful relationship with plants to the
Mhm.
degree that you decided to extend your services to to having a botanical. And I mean, I love to hear about the collection of flower essences that you have kind of connected with. And I know we're kind of getting towards the close of our time together, but I'd love to hear about your journey with flower essences, or if you could just kind of give us an idea of what flower essences do and how you connect with them.
Yeah. So yeah, I have also in 2018, late December of 2018, I opened, kind of launched my botanical business called Uchu Botanical. And I've pretty much kind of honed in on making flower essences. And prior to that, I had been using flower essences for a couple years, maybe even 3 years prior. My son, my youngest son, and I were going through a really intense family court situation and just really needed some emotional support. And a friend of mine, or a couple friends of mine over time, had suggested using flower essences. So flower essences are a vibrational medicine that the each flower has its own signature quality, and mind you, there's like a million flowers and each one has its own signature quality and a quality that it brings. And with essence, the essence of the flower is imprinted in water and preserved in alcohol, and then that remedy becomes um, a tool to help bring your emotions back into balance. So they're extremely potent, like extremely potent, yet extremely gentle at the same time. They're safe for pets. A lot of people use this in pet animal support and therapy. They're safe for elders to take. They're safe for people going through all sorts of various treatments and taking medications. They are preserved in alcohol, but you can dissipate that in water, or you can use them topically, and they can offer support for your emotions. And if you take an essence that doesn't necessarily align with rebalancing an emotional pattern that you want to bring back into alignment, it just will be benign or neutral in your system. And if you find one that's aligns with you, it can help promote a lot of great, amazing shifts. So my son and I started using them and found great emotional support through a really traumatizing time, really stressful time, and it really supported bringing us into balance. I was getting essences from a company where the flowers come from there, and I started looking around and feeling like there's flowers in my environment that are speaking to me, and I'm wondering what is their medicine, like what are they bringing, like the lemon blossoms in my backyard that are blooming like crazy right now, like what are they saying, and the borage flower in the garden, and things like that. And so I started looking at the plants in my environment, the ones that I seeing patterns through different seasons or periods of time, and I started learning more about them, and started playing around with making the essences and using them. And then just kind of grew from there. And now I did a training last year, and I'm moving towards a flower essence certification, so that I can consult with other people the use of them. I know that they've been an extremely beneficial ally right now through this time, this shift on the planet, and this even just the shift within all of ourselves, and being sheltering in. And so yeah, there's one essences that I take just to go to the grocery store, because that has become like a stressful situation. So there's essences I take to support that stress and trauma of being out and interacting with people in all the various ways during this time. And then there's other essences I take to just kind of connect me with more of the potent messages that the earth is bringing during this time. And yeah, if you want, I do have a page on my website specifically about the essences that I've made so far. I think I have 9 of them on there. I made 2 earlier this year, and I just actually made another one on the full moon, of the yarrow, white yarrow. So yeah.
That's incredible. That's incredible that something so gentle as a flower that we just regard as this kind of pretty thing actually has the ability to heal our emotional body and offer us a different sense of comfort that one, yeah, like the intimate way that we can interact and engage with flower essences is quite profound and powerful. And
On the powerful.
um, I thank you for that. If if someone were to just start out as a beginner with floral, like a flower essence, is there just like a simple flower essence that someone could take that is pretty common just for someone who's a beginner?
I mean, there's so many, but the one that is just speaking right now, and it's actually the first essence that I made and gave to someone, is the borage flower essence.
Mm,
It really does support grief and kind of the moody blues. It's a little blue flower, and it's also edible, and it can be made into tinctures. But again, the essence is something very different. It doesn't have a scent. It's just something you would drop on your tongue, or put in water, or put in your bath, and it can support kind of this I think there's a collective grief that's happening. So the borage one is a great one. But again, there's so many, and there's a couple companies besides my own. I mean, I have 9, but there's so many more. One is Flower Essence Services, that I did my training with. They have amazing research and blog posts about diving deeper into the essences, and countless case studies that share how people have shifted through use. And then also the company that I started with is called Desert Alchemy, and they have a great, you can actually go in and search by keyword and find an essence to match maybe something that you might be like trauma or abandonment or grief or activation or inspiration. Yeah. What I did want to say is, as potent and wonderful as these capturing these essences and putting them in a mother essence, we are made of water, 75% water at birth. I think it kind of lessens over time. But we are made of water. So at times I've been like, okay, I can't make an essence, but I am water. So if I sit with this, this flower, for a period of time, with the sun, the water within my body, and the flower that's in my environment, I can actually receive the benefit of that, the essence of that flower, if that makes any sense. But I thought I would offer that because we don't have to like capture the essence or buy the essence to benefit from the potency that all of these flowers have to offer.
That's powerful to know. Again, it's kind of similar to what you were sharing about food and just the ability to listen and connect with the energy of the vibrations of the food.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what, Tamu? I could pick your brain
Yeah,
for
I
a
know.
very long time. Clearly, you've put a lot of time and energy in becoming a real wealth of knowledge for our community, and I commend you for that. And I'm excited about your journey of being certified in flower essences, and just just you continuing to not give any f's about what you're here to do and bring. And it's very clear that your journey has inspired countless people, and I'm hoping that the listeners are able to kind of connect with what you've shared and integrate that. I know that on your website there are recipes, on your blogs. You
Mm-hmm.
can go to holisticshine.com.
And it's holistic with a W. I don't know if you'll put that somewhere, but yeah, it's holistic with a W, WH, not just H. Yeah.
Nice. So
Mm-hmm.
holistic with a W, shine.com, to check out your detox, to check out the botanical, if people want to start their flower essence journey as well. Thank you so much for being on this show. You're such a brilliant, beautiful person, a soul sister, and I just feel so much closer to you and hearing your journey in this moment. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for having me, and I'm glad the yes came through. So
Awesome. Well, thank you all for listening. Please tune in next week as we continue exploring health, wellness, and what it means to be in our physical bodies on a spiritual journey. Take care.